Hey everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the new world content that's coming out in patch 7.2. The Broken Shore basically is our new sort of quest island, a little bit like the Isle of Thunder, the Timeless Isle, or Tanan Jungle from Warlords of Draenor. This is just the initial release, so it's important to bear that in mind. And they have said that, as an example, say, the new faction, Legionfall, it's kind of implemented, but there aren't even rewards assigned yet. So a lot of stuff is in play, but what I'm going to do today is, instead of just doing a kind of like a, I don't know, like a boring gameplay video, my hope here is I can just give you a summary of my experience and what I think about the content, because I think it's better if I just let you experience the content for yourself, kind of untarnished, when it comes out, but let me know what you think about that as far as a video format goes. So as soon as you arrive in Dalaran, you'll get a little pop-up quest thing that will take you to Khadgar, and then he'll send you off on a scenario, which is where all of the different, like, Order Hall soldiers and stuff go off and assault the Broken Shore to sort of make a foothold there and not completely cock it up like we did in the pre-expansion event. So you go down, you do this scenario. It's really cool, really big scale, loads of friendly and enemy NPCs. You're going up in spaceships, some notable characters there as well. Overall, it's a very well done scenario, so I'm definitely quite happy with how they actually managed to pull that off. Once the scenario is done, you then end up in your new base. Right now, or at the very start, it's very bland indeed, but the whole point is that you're building up its buildings and unlocking more content as the patch goes on, and this is actually done by player activity, just like, say, patch 5.2, where everyone would be banding together to expand the size of the base, and doing that would unlock more content, which I think is a really cool way to do things, because of course it's an MMO, and the impact of other players is something that probably should be felt in its design. Now, the core content of it right now seems to be world quests. About 5 or 6 generally spawn. They will give you your normal, like, AP rewards, stuff like that, but they will also give you Legionfall resources. These are what you hand in to a particular NPC to aid in the construction of the new buildings. Now, currently, that is something that I think they're like accelerating it on the PTR so that we can test better, and I'll be able to give you a better overall look at what these buildings are like when I do my final kind of look at this content. The point of this video is to give you an overview so you roughly know what's up with a new bit of main world content in this patch. So you've got all your world quests spread around the zone. They're pretty much standard world quests, you know, kill 10 guys, fill up the bar. There's some more gimmicky ones, you know, you're rolling a barrel down a hill, one where you're manning a machine gun on a boat, so they're pretty cool. There's also some quest content, which is at least based off the island, which is to unlock your new traits for your artifact weapon. Now, the way that this works is kind of interesting. So there are 7 quests in total, and they've split them up so that I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 tank ones, 1 or 2 healer ones, the rest are DPS, and they've done it such that for every class, you'll have a unique quest for every spec, but between classes, the quests are shared between specs. And the reason for that's because, you know, you can make 7 quests and get the job done, so most players have a unique experience, or you could do 36 quests and give every single spec something new, which realistically wouldn't be that feasible, especially since it's a kind of short quest and it doesn't really mean that much. That said, what I played was pretty fun, so that's definitely a good positive, and you get your new traits and your stuff for your artifact weapon, which will be probably a main point of your progression in this patch. So yeah, I did the initial scenario to open the place up. I then did my quest to unlock my new artifact traits. I did some world quests, and so far that's pretty much all the content that I've seen on the island. I have to assume that more will be unlocked as the buildings and stuff like that are constructed, because right now it's definitely quite bare. Now, it's a bit strange with the island itself. It's not that big. Like, it's the Broken Shore. You've already been there, so it's not humongous. It's probably smaller than Tanan Jungle. It's probably smaller than the Isle of Thunder. Maybe it's the same size as the Timeless Isle, which I guess was, like, the Timeless Isle was pretty small, but it was pretty dense as far as, like, stuff. There's a lot going on there. As for this, though, like the Timeless Isle, there are some statues. You click on them, you get a buff, so there's little things like that. There's lots of treasures spread around the place. Now, one thing that might be of interest to you is that, I guess, like Tanan Jungle, you've got this, it's weird, so there's an NPC who sells these gear tokens. You purchase the gear tokens with nether shards, which currently you cannot get on the PTR, which is a bit strange, and whenever you click in the gear, then that gear will basically, you roll a random bit of gear with like whatever item level and stats, basically like Tanan Jungle, but I've got no idea whether that's actually going to be something that they keep in the final version of 7.2, so I'm not really going to go too ham on it for now. Suffice to say, I really did not like how Tanan Jungle worked, and I sincerely hope they don't go that direction again. And it's strange with the size of the island, like, yeah, it's not really that big. Graphically, it's beautiful, like, it is really cool. As much as that is art that we saw in 7.0, if we think about most of the zones of Legion, they don't really have that kind of black and green and purple Legion theme. Most of the zones are pretty colorful and different to that. So I'm okay with these assets being reused if Argus is full of new art and stuff like that, which I'm assuming that it will be, based on it being a new planet. If we think about, say, Mists of Pandaria, patch 5.2 had unique art, patch 5.4 didn't have unique art. Hopefully it's, something like that, and just at this time we're getting the not unique art one first, because ideally they're doing a lot of work on Argus. So overall, that's not really a big problem to me, because I think it's really cool art, it's not stuff that I'm tired of, and yeah, it's just, it's pretty nice looking, but as I said, it's not that big, so hopefully they manage to make that dense as we build out the buildings, and hopefully they just give us new content and mechanics. That said, there are some things which are like, portals which will take you to a spaceship somewhere, so maybe there's other little bits of instance content that are also bundled into this main sort of world zone itself. Overall, though, that's really my initial thoughts. I'm not blown away, but definitely it looks satisfying enough, and hopefully it will be fleshed out as the PTR goes on. What I would just say to them is, it would be nice to have all of the elements of the Timeless Isle, because I think it did have some really cool elements, and as long as there was good kind of narrative content with the Class Order Hall campaigns, and ideally some sort of narrative story that takes place maybe weekly or whatever, based on perhaps your reputation with the Legionfall faction. Legionfall is barely implemented at the minute, so again, we just need to wait and see. Now this is the main bit of world content in the patch. The other bit of world content is the Legion invasions of the zones, which I was very disappointed with. You can check that out in the video that I did on that. So I hope that those invasions see some change, but honestly, they do look like they're basically kind of done and polished, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Look at this content. Very keen to hear what you think about it, so leave that down in the comments. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.